Every year you earn more than the year before. Every year you buy more than the year before. And every year you feel the same distance from comfortable. This is not a matter of income. It is not a matter of discipline. It is a structural feature of how most people build their financial lives. And today we are going to examine the specific mechanism that keeps people on a treadmill they never notice they are on. There is a widespread belief that financial progress is cumulative, that each raise, each promotion, each improvement should move you forward in a meaningful way. And technically it does. Your bank balance increases, your assets grow, your net worth goes up on paper, but the feeling of being ahead does not arrive. The sense of breathing room does not materialize, and most people interpret this as personal failure. They assume they are spending too much. They assume they lack discipline. They assume everyone else has figured something out that they have missed. The truth is simpler and more systemic. The problem is not what you earn. It is what happens the moment you earn it. When income rises, lifestyle rises with it. Not because people are reckless, not because they lack foresight, but because the entire consumer economy is designed to absorb income growth as soon as it appears. The mechanism is invisible because it feels like choice. You decide to upgrade your car. You decide to move to a better neighborhood. You decide to eat out more often. You decide to buy higher quality clothing. You decide to take better vacations. Each decision feels independent. Each decision feels justified, and each decision locks you into a higher baseline cost of living. The raise you got last year is not discretionary income. It is already committed. And the raise you will get next year is already spoken for by the lifestyle you are building today. This is not about resisting all pleasure. It is not about living below your means forever. It is about understanding that lifestyle inflation is not a choice you make once. It is a recurring process that recalibrates your expenses to match your income every single time your income changes. The person earning $60,000 a year feels stretched. The person earning $90,000 a year feels stretched. The person earning $130,000 a year feels stretched. The amount changes. The feeling does not. And the reason is that each income level supports a corresponding cost structure that consumes most of what comes in. The economy depends on this. If people saved most of their raises, consumer spending would collapse. If people resisted lifestyle upgrades, entire industries would shrink. The social environment is designed to make increased consumption feel like the natural response to increased income. Your peers upgrade. Your neighborhood upgrades. Your social circle expects you to keep pace. The person who earns more but lives the same is treated as an anomaly. The person who earns more and spends more is treated as normal. And normal means predictable. Predictable means your financial outcome is already determined by the income bracket you occupy and the consumer behavior that bracket expects. Here is what most people do not calculate. Every permanent increase in lifestyle creates a permanent increase in the income required to sustain it. When you move to a more expensive apartment, you are not just paying more rent this month. You are committing to higher rent every month for as long as you live there. When you finance a better car, you are not just taking on a payment. You are reducing your flexibility for the next 5 years. When you adopt the social habits of people who earn more than you are not treating yourself. You are locking in higher ongoing costs that will be difficult to reverse without social friction. The initial decision feels small. The long-term obligation is enormous. And because the decision is framed as an upgrade, it feels like progress. It is not progress. It is recalibration. You have adjusted your cost of living to match your income. And now you are back to zero margin, just at a higher absolute level. This is why people who double their income over 10 years often report feeling no better off than they did before. It is not that they wasted the money. It is that they spent it in ways that did not create optionality. They converted income into consumption. And consumption does not build leverage. It builds dependency. The more your lifestyle costs, the more income you need just to maintain it. The more income you need, the less freedom you have to take risks, change careers, or step away from work you dislike. The upgrade you thought was a reward has become a constraint, and the constraint is invisible because it does not feel like a loss. It feels like normal life. Pause for a moment. Think about the last time your income increased, not what you did with the money, but whether you can still access that money today. If the raise disappeared into your standard of living, you have experienced this firsthand. If you cannot easily reverse your lifestyle back to what it was before the raise, you are locked in. Leave a comment saying, "I see it now." Not for validation, for recognition. Now let us continue. The cycle repeats because the framing never changes. People are taught to view income growth as the solution. Earn more and life gets easier. Earn more and you get ahead. Earn more and you will finally feel comfortable. But comfort is not a function of income. It is a function of margin. Margin is the gap between what you earn and what you need. And for most people, that gap stays narrow regardless of how much they earn, because their needs expand to match their earnings. The person earning $50,000 has financial stress. The person earning $150,000 has financial stress. The sources are different, the amounts are different, but the experience is the same. Both are operating close to their limit. Both feel vulnerable. Both feel like they cannot afford a disruption. And both believe the answer is more income. Here's the part most people resist. More income will not solve this. It will extend it. If you are already converting raises into lifestyle increases, the next raise will follow the same pattern. If you are already operating at the edge of your earnings, a higher income just moves the edge higher. The structure stays the same. The feeling stays the same. The only thing that changes is the absolute numbers, and absolute numbers do not determine financial stability. Ratios do. Specifically, the ratio between fixed obligations and discretionary income. When that ratio is tight, you are fragile. When that ratio has room, you are stable. And lifestyle inflation is the mechanism that keeps that ratio tight no matter how much you earn. The most damaging part of this pattern is that it is socially reinforced. The people around you are doing the same thing. Your colleagues upgrade their homes when they get promoted. Your friends buy nicer cars when they get raises. Your family expects you to live in a way that reflects your income. The social script is clear. Earn more, spend more. And because everyone is following the same script, nobody questions it. The result is an entire class of people who earn good incomes, make responsible decisions, and never feel ahead. They are not failing. They are succeeding at the wrong optimization. They are optimizing for lifestyle quality at each income level, instead of optimizing for margin across time. And lifestyle quality does not compound. Margin does. What happens when you do not increase your lifestyle in proportion to your income? You create a gap. That gap can be saved. That gap can be invested. That gap can be used to reduce obligations. That gap gives you the ability to absorb shocks without panic. That gap gives you the freedom to make decisions that are not purely economic. That gap is what people call financial security. And it is not created by earning more. It is created by keeping your cost structure below your income as your income grows. This is not deprivation. It is strategic delay. You are choosing to live at the $70,000 level while earning $90,000. Not forever, but long enough to build something that changes the structure. Long enough to stop feeling like every dollar is spoken for before it arrives. Most people will not do this. They will continue to let lifestyle track income. They will continue to feel behind. They will continue to believe that the next raise will be different. And they will be wrong. Because the next raise will be absorbed the same way the last one was. The car will be nicer. The apartment will be bigger. The vacations will be better. And the margin will be the same. 0. The treadmill will keep moving. The speed will increase. But the position will not change. And decades later, they will look back and wonder why they never got ahead despite doing everything they were supposed to do. The answer will be simple. They upgraded their life in real time with their income. And upgrades are not investments. They are expenses that reset the baseline. The people who break this pattern do not do it by earning dramatically more. They do it by refusing to recalibrate their lifestyle every time their income changes. They treat income growth as an opportunity to build capacity, not an invitation to consume more. They live below their means not as a sacrifice, but as a strategy. And the result is not deprivation. It is options. Options to leave a job that is damaging their health. Options to take a year and retrain. Options to invest in something that has asymmetric upside. Options to help family without destabilizing their own situation. Options to retire earlier than their peers. Options are the only real form of wealth, and options are built from margin, not income. Margin. There is no emotional reward for staying at the same lifestyle level when your income rises. Society does not celebrate restraint. Your peers will not admire you for driving the same car after a promotion. Your family will not understand why you are not moving to a bigger house. The feedback loop is entirely internal. And for most people, internal feedback is not strong enough to override social pressure. So they follow the pattern. They earn more. They spend more. They stay in the same relative position. And they never feel ahead because ahead is not a dollar amount. It is a structural condition. It is having more coming in than going out by a meaningful margin. and meaningful margin is incompatible with automatic lifestyle inflation. If you are watching this and you recognize the pattern, you have two options. You can continue, or you can stop. Continuing is easier. It requires no explanation. It matches what everyone else is doing. It feels normal. Stopping requires discipline that nobody will see. It requires saying no to upgrades that feel deserved. It requires living in a way that does not reflect your income in the eyes of others. And it produces a result that will not be visible for years. Most people will choose to continue because the pain of restraint is immediate and the pain of staying stuck is delayed. But delayed pain does not disappear. It accumulates. And the longer you stay on the treadmill, the harder it becomes to step off without losing something you have come to depend on. The system is not designed to help you build margin. It is designed to convert your income into consumption as efficiently as possible. Every increase in your earnings is an opportunity for someone else to sell you something better. Better food, better clothes, better experiences, better surroundings. And better is the enemy of enough, because better has no ceiling. There is always another level, always another upgrade, always another way to spend what you just started earning. And if you follow that logic, you will spend your entire working life earning more and feeling the same. Not because you are bad with money, but because you are playing a game where the finish line moves every time you get close to it. This is not a lecture. It is an observation. Most people are not aware they are on this path until they have been on it for a decade. By then, the lifestyle is entrenched. The obligations are real. The social expectations are set. And stepping back feels like failure. It is not failure. It is correction. But correction requires admitting that the strategy you have been following does not produce the outcome you want. And that admission is difficult. So most people do not make it. They keep going. They keep hoping. They keep believing that the next raise will be the one that finally makes them feel secure. And it never is, because security is not built from income alone. It is built from the gap between income and obligation. And that gap only exists if you protect it. If you made it to the end of this, you are not looking for comfort. You are looking for clarity. This channel exists to show you the patterns that most people follow without realizing it and the costs those patterns carry. If that kind of clarity is useful to you, subscribe. New videos every week. No motivation, no shortcuts, just the structure underneath the surface.